Everyone. I'm Pritima Kaushal, and on behalf of ISTD Delhi chapter, I extend a very warm welcome to all our guests to yet another evening talk series in our Golden Jubilee year. Today, we are indeed fortunate to have with us an accomplished HR professional, a philanthropist, and a distinguished speaker, Dr. Johari Lal, former Director HR, ONGC. So he will be sharing his thoughts with us on the topic HR strategic initiatives and accountability. Friends, strategic role of HR has become a topic of great interest. In today's most successful companies, the CHRO is an integral member of the strategic leadership team. Today's strategic HR leaders are demonstrating tremendous leadership and facilitating the change which is indeed needed to drive innovation and business results, while at the same time making workplaces great places for employees to work in. So today we have Dr. Johari Lal with us, who during his tenure in ONGC made several sweeping changes. We have great opportunity to listening to him and learn from him about some of these initiatives which he took during his shining career in ONGC. So with these few words, I now request our chapter chairman, Mr. Mukesh Jain, to welcome Dr. Johari Lal and the guests. Mr. Mukesh Jain, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Pratima ji. A very good evening, friends. I, on behalf of Management Committee of ISTD Delhi chapter, welcome you all to this Golden Jubilee year evening talk on HR strategic initiatives and accountability by none other than Dr. Johari Lal sir, past National President NIPM and former Director HR ONGC. Friends, Indian Society for Training and Development, popularly known as ISTD, established in April 1970, is a premier national institute of training and development professionals. ISTD has celebrated its Golden Jubilees recently. ISTD maintained a large chapter network, around 42 chapters with more than 8,000 institutional and individual members. The society is affiliated to IFTDO USA and ARTDO Manila. The society published a quarterly journal, Indian Journal of Training and Development. ISTD conduct a PG Diploma in Training and Development, a correspondence course through distance learning of 18 months duration for the purpose of recruitment to senior posts under the current central government and PSUs. Friends, during this Golden Jubilee year, our National Council has decided to offer 50% discount on the life membership. You can enroll yourself paying less than 5,000 rupees for life membership. For more details, please log in to istd.co.in or istd.in, istddaily.in. I once again welcome Dr. Johari Lal sir, all the past national presidents of ISTD, chapter chairpersons, NC members, senior members and friends from ISTD, NIPM, NHRD, DMA, FMA, ISTD diploma students, faculty members and students from New Delhi Institute of Management, NDIM. I wish you all a wonderful evening and joyful weekend. Namaskar. Over to Pratima ji. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jain. So before I invite Dr. Lal to share his thoughts with us, I would now invite Dr. Radha Sharma to introduce the speaker. Friends, Dr. Radha Sharma has been professor in MTI for more than 18 years, and currently she's Dean, Research and Industry Academia Linkages at New Delhi Institute of Management. That is NIDM, New Delhi Institute of Management, yeah. Dr. Radha Sharma.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of New Delhi Institute of Management, the Mentor Institute for Business Education, identified by All India Council for Technical Education and CII, and a knowledge partner for this webinar, I extend a very hearty welcome to Dr. Johari Lal, the eminent speaker of this evening, and all the office bearers and members of ISTD, the NDIM fraternity, and each one of you attending this webinar. Dr. Johari Lal is an accomplished HR professional who has had diverse experience with various public sector organizations for 5 long decades. He served Steel Authority of India at Bokaro Steel Plant, but is known more for his services in the oil sector PSUs. He was on the board of Oil India for 3 years and later became member personnel of Oil and Natural Gas Commission for a couple of years. But when ONGC was transformed from a commission to a company, he took charge as Director HR and served in that capacity for 11 years until his retirement. Dr. Johari Lal has received a number of awards, but in the interest of time, it will not be possible to list them. But just to name a few, he was conferred Honor of Peter the Great by Russian Academy of Natural Sciences, Environment Award for outstanding contributions in the field of HRM by World Environment Congress, and Lifetime Achievement Award by NIPM. After his retirement from ONGC, he has been engaged in philanthropy and he has founded 2 NGOs, and he is the founder president of Anugrah Drishtidan. This NGO organizes a number of initiatives for eye checkup, cataract surgery for preventing blindness in the country. And I'm told that this organization has organized more than 58,000 cataract surgeries over the years. The other NGO, Bal Arogya, focuses on healthy development of children from the economically weaker sections of the society in 9 different states. He also runs a management center for preparing people for post-retirement and has published a book on ageless aging. I have known Dr. Johari Lal when he was Director HR at ONGC, and after that, for some time, I was not in touch with him. I've had the privilege of organizing a large number of management development programs for middle and senior level officers of ONGC when ONGC was striving for competitive edge and when it went through a major transformation with OTP, CRC, leveraging structure and technology, and not only became a Maharatna, but also a Fortune 500 company. I still recall deliberations that we used to have in management fraternity, where the topic used to be whether we can make an elephant dance, but ONGC with 40,000 plus employees has proved that it can. It has been indeed a very, very enriching experience. For nearly 10 years of my association with ONGC through research and management development, and I have published 2 case studies on ONGC's organizational transformation. The topic for today's webinar is HR strategic initiatives and accountability. And I, on behalf of New Delhi Institute of Management, cordially invite Dr. Johari Lal, former Director HR ONGC, to please share his insights with us on the subject. Dr. Johari Lal.
So friends, for me, it is a great opportunity to be here with all of you, with old friends, old colleagues. I am personally thankful to our friends who are here with me this evening. I am very thankful to ISTD, particularly Mukesh Jain and his team, for giving me this opportunity to share some of my thoughts with you. Friends, as you know that my entire experience has been with the public sector. So that is my limitation. Though I worked in 6 organizations, including 2 Maharatna company, 1 Navaratna company. But last 38 years, I spent on working in HR in various capacities. I'm also very thankful to Dr. Udesh Kelly my senior and friend who is here with us this evening. Also to my friends and colleague, Dr. Balyan, who succeeded me. And he continued from where I left. So friends, I'm just starting my presentation with the certain premises. The first thing is, now the CHRM, when I talk, sometimes I use the word I don't mean myself. I'm just representing the HR group as such. So this HR person, now he himself has to be self-motivated. If he's frustrated on any of the account, now he can't lead the team. So he has to be self-motivated. And number two, when he's working the organization and he's leading the team, then he has to build his own team. When we talk of the competence, now he has to build his own team of the HR. And the people, they should have faith in him. They should have respect. And the respect comes only when you are competent. And competence comes when you have the hand-on experience. You are working, you have the vast experience of working in the centers or places, particularly the hand-on experiences. If I say, I worked at Donemalai, Baladila, Megatabaru, Kiriburu, does it make any sense? These are the places I have worked. And these are the areas where we had the operations. So the first and foremost thing is that one should have the first-hand knowledge, experience of working in the field, in the operations areas. You can't have the remote control. Mr. Gopinath is here with me, and he will recollect that, see, the HR people or finance people, now we are working in oil sector. Now they have not seen the rig. What is a rig? How it looks like that. They have not seen the field parties, how they are working. While in Bombay, they have not seen the offshore platform, how people are living there. 14 days off, 14 and a half. Unless you know how people are working, what are their situations, circumstances, what are the difficulties they are undergoing, how can you look after them? So one has to have the first-hand knowledge. The competence comes once you have the understanding and knowledge. You can't have the remote control. And so you have to command respect. And respect not only among your HR colleagues, because you have to have your own team. Unless you have your team, you can't be successful. There cannot be one armed army. So once you have to have a good team who have faith in you and who are in the same wavelength. Second thing is, now you have to have the good relations with your colleagues. Colleagues may be at the board or wherever, what is the position you are having here. Because the position of the HR head is a very envious position. Envious in the sense that it is powerful, it is respectful, and people are envious. And those who are colleagues at the board level or whatever the level they are, now sometime or other, generally they have been victim of HR. So they don't see HR with a lot of kindness. So you have to have good relations, personal relations with the team, with your colleagues for them. Because if you don't have the good relations, then they are going to sabotage you. So that acceptability has to be there. And then the third, the most important thing is, what is your relations with the boss, the CEO or CMD, whatever it is? Because he is the final authority. Whatever decision you take, whatever the initiative you take, unless you have his blessings, they can't go through. I have seen the cases, live cases, the DHR having confrontation with CMD. Now we can't do anything. And who is suffering? The organization will suffer. So whatever the differences you are going to have, that is apart. But the boss is the boss. Maybe the same batch, maybe sometimes the junior. But once the boss is the boss and the boss is the boss. And friends, I'm very happy to share with you that I worked with the two chairmen who were junior to me. But I had excellent relations. So the four most important thing is that your relationship with the CEO or CMD, your boss, you have to have the good relations. You have to have the blessings. And the problem with the HR is that, as I say, it is envious post. And by chance, if you are very, very image projective persons, you are very, very dynamic persons. And no CEO will tolerate that you should be more popular than himself. So whatever the dirty work you are doing, you have to continue to do. When the question of recognition comes, it has to be given to CEOs. You should not feel bad about this. So that sort of a thing has to come. If it is not there, if this relationship is not there, if the grounding, the boundary work is not there, you are not going to succeed. So these are the certain things. Another thing is the ego. See, many people have the egos. If you are egoistic, now there is no room for HR. कहा this हमारे द्वारकानाथ साहब उस दिन बोल रहे थे कि HR, heart from heart. तो heart, if you are working from heart, तो heart में तो क्या होता है? कबीर साहब ने कहा था तो ये तो घर है प्रेम का, खाला का घर ना है. शीश उतारे भूत रहे जो बैठे पे मान. So देखिए, if you are in the field of HR, you are in the field of service. You are the art master. You are in this, so that you have to understand. Also, many times people have their own impressions, their own whims and fancies, their own the views. There is nothing wrong that you have your own views. But once you are working with a company, the views of a CEO, they are very important. Either you convince him or you get convinced. Otherwise, if you are having differences, better he will not leave. You have to leave it. Leave it. You resign and go if you have differences. I've also seen that number of government directives are there, guidelines are there, policies are there. You are there to implement them. And if you don't believe in them, then better to resign and go. So it is your duty. What are the policies, the principles of the organizations are there? So you have to follow this. And if you're not able to see eye to eye, if you don't agree with them, so you will be doing damage to the organizations. Also, the HR has to have a lot of enthusiasm, has to have a lot of zeal, has to have a lot of passion to do something, because this is the opportunity is given to him. It's a great opportunity. Serving for the people is a great opportunity. हमारे यहाँ कहा गया कि नर सेवा नारायण सेवा, तो आपको नारायण सेवा करने का तो आपको अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल रही है. So you have to draw the strength from the organization where you are working. Each organization has got its own culture. Each organization has got its own stalwarts in the past. Are you aware of the past history of your organizations? Say, for example, ONGC. ONGC had K.D. Malviya ji as chairman of ONGC. ONGC has 3 ICS officers working. ONGC had 1 chairman awarded Padma Bhushan. ONGC had 1 chairman awarded Padma Shri at the age of 25. ONGC has the Mr. Seshan, T.N. Seshan, as a member personal. If you are in the personal department, see this There was Mr. Sheshan who was our head, and we are hating that. So you have to draw a lot of strength from your organizations, from your own leaders. And then you have to have some sort of a zeal and passion. The aim and objective has to be that during the tenure, whatever it is, you have to make the value additions. You have to make a difference. And you have to leave milestones. This is not permanent. So when you leave, at least you have the good feeling that, yes, while I was working in that organizations, this is what I contributed. This is what I done. You have to feel proud, and also people to remember. You have to leave the posterity to remember you that, yes, there was some person who has done this thing in the adverse situations. I feel very happy that, yes, yeah, though Dr. Balyan was succeeded me, but 3 other HR persons who are directly working under me, who succeeded as a Dr. HR. Veena Sarup, excellent officer. Bintu EIL, D.D. Mishra, 1GC, Dr. Alka Mittal. So they're all working directly with me and feel very happy and proud. Yes, I'm left some legacy. So this is the something, say, as HR personnel, to think that he has got the opportunity to do something for the organization, do something for the people, and leave his name. So with this background of the HR, because the job of HR is it's very, very versatile. Personality has to be very, very different. People ask, ऐसा आदमी कहाँ से लाएं? देखिए कि you have to play that role. अगर आपको राम का रोल देने को दिया जाए, तो you have to behave like a Ram. Whether you are Ram or not, different thing. But you have given that, you have taken that role of HR. You have to have those qualities, those side character to be as a successful HR person. So when I talk about the competency, then building your team, then one has to be continuous. It's not that you know everything. Life itself is learning. We go on learning. No, it's now 17 years. I retired from 1GC, but still I'm there with you. I'm attending your programs, not only you, but other programs also. I'm still learning what is happening. So the life itself is the process of learning. So while, see, what you are doing, you know, but what you're not doing, you don't know what you're not doing. So you have to acquire that knowledge, experience, expertise from what is there in the industry itself, what is available at the national level, what is at the international level. So unless that sort of hunger is there, you will not be up to date. So you have to be up to date. So that once you have to respect, then you have to be little above. And the commitment I mentioned, say to see this, because you have to draw the strength, and then you have to show something to the organizations and the people. Mention about the courage. Now, see, courage, how the courage comes. See, if you have the people have faith in you, you have the confidence, and say, you know that, okay, my boss is with me, you will have the courage. And if you are on the right path, yes, you have to have the courage. I'll just give you 2-3 examples. Now, I was the second level officer, personal officer, somewhere in Meghatipur. It is in Jharkhand now, it was Bihar. And as a personal officer, I was second to general manager, head of the project. And lunchtime, I was informed that a group of 100 tribal people with bows and arrows. This is tribal areas. They have come, and some 5 persons who were fasting in front of the office. So they have taken them. Now what you have to do? Now our own people, suppose they are fasting or something, hunger strike, and a group of 100 with bows and arrows, they have come. What to do? And yes, I didn't take a minute. I just rushed to the scene and also accompanied with them. I started going with them. I went for about 1 kilometer. And then because I didn't know their language, I heard somebody ask him, what is the problem? And then see, the communication starts. And it was some sort of a misinformation. They were informed that, okay, these people are striking because they don't want the local persons for recruitment. So you have to have this sort of courage. And this is how people have trust with you. I remember another example. See that ONGC has maybe knowing that we were the first to make the wage settlement. We were the first to make the negotiation pay revision with the officers. We are the first. Public sector, they know, everybody knows that you have to SAIL, NTPC, IOC, HPCL, BPCL, they all know that, okay, they're looking towards the ONGC. And because we had very excellent relations, and what happens once after signing the long-term settlement with the trade unions, I just realized, and I have also given to understand that what we have given to the officers was a little higher than what we have given to the trade union people, to our employees. And it was a very tricky situation what to do. I was myself convinced, yes, say there has been some injustice done. Friends, I had a courage to go to the board because the LTS is approved by the board of directors. And reopening the LTS already signed. There is no example. But I have the courage and conviction to go to the board and make them to understand that yes, some injustice have been done to them. And the CEO, chairman supported me, other my colleagues supported me. And yes, it was reopened, and then some two increment they were given to the employees. So what does it mean? Say that, okay, you become trustworthy, yes, you have the feelings for the people. Another areas where, say, now the things are much, much better. But there was time in the 80s. What were the issues? Industrial relations were the issues. High nahi chahiye, murdabad nahi chahiye, hunger strike nahi chahiye, strike nahi chahiye. And these were the days when IR was being regarded. IR की पूछ होती थी इंडस्ट्रियल रिलेशंस की, HR की पूछ होती थी. अभी तो कोई पूछने वाला नहीं है ना. IR तो खत्म हो गया, trade unions खत्म हो गए. So friends, but you see the era of the 70s, the 80s, this industrial relations was a huge problem, big problems. And I was in All India, and there was one union, same union working for the last 20 years. And they have lost majority. And there was no ways and means how to make them realize that, okay, they are not the majority union. It was the first time, I think, in the history of public sector. It was sometime 90. In 90, to take the public sector history, we somehow managed to enforce, to persuade the recognition of trade union through secret ballot, through the IR machinery. 20 years. The trade union was working for 20 years, and they lost. And same thing when I joined 93 in ONGC. You know, their problem, the multiplicity of the unions. ONGC, like, we had about 15 unions from various backgrounds, from Calcutta, CPM, CPIM, Bombay, Raja Kulkarni, Sanat Mehta, Finance Ministers, Gujarat, Chitta Basu. So, and in one place there are 3 to 4 unions. Now it has taken a lot of trial on me, persuasion, building the confidence that we were able to institutionalize the recognition of trade union through secret ballot. And yes, it requires a lot of the confidence and trust in you. And I think today, ONGC is one of the very few organizations where this recognition of trade union is there, by through the secret ballots. It is for a period of 3 years or so, like this is. We also institutionalized the relationship, the collectives. And collectives, we say that not only the trade unions, but office association, they're also very, very strong. Now, generally, see either, say the company like oil companies, say the ratio may be 60 to 40, officers are more than the employees. So the very strong trade union, strong the office association. Now we had the arrangement that yes, how institutionalized kiya hai, how we have the communications. Communication is one of the important aspects of the HR management. Communications with the employees, communications to the unions or officers. So communication is one of the things. And not only we had the meetings, periodical meetings with the officer association, because they want to be heard. And many times the management, they avoid listening to them. When you listen to them, and I say, HR guy has to be a good listener. He should be a good listener. He will go on listening. More than 70% of the problems, issues are solved only by listening. People don't want to listen. So the communication with the employees, also these collectives I was mentioning. So we have the officer association, the trade unions, then also this SCST, there are also 25% population, public sector belongs to SCST categories. So naturally, now if you don't give the proper space, now they will go on writing the prime minister, president, the commission, things like that. Many times they create nuisance. So we are so institutionalized. So you have to create sort of a faith, confidence in you, giving meetings to them. And whenever they say we make the practice that whenever the chairman goes, whenever the DHR goes, now they will have a meeting with the collectives. Listen to them. What are their problems? What are their issues? And many of the issues are sorted out by listening to them. This communication greatly helped. And two examples I will mention, because sorry, time is very less. So one is about the first tragedy occurred when we lost the Sagar Vikas, the rig in offshore, in 84. I happened to be there in Bombay. And the communication, it became the sort of a case study for the very major institute in London, how the communication helps, because people want to know what is going to happen. So both internally and also the externally. So Colonel Wahi, he has been my great mentor, and I learned a lot of things from him and how he handled this situation. Subsequently, this helped me and my other colleagues in Andhra Pradesh, place known as Pasalapudi, where we had the fire in the well. It was burning for 84 days, and I have to be there physically, conducting the press conferences communicating them, the people, externally, inwardly. So what is happening? I must also appreciate our friend in Oil India. Now they had a big fire working for about 150 days. Vishwajit Rai, camping over there for months together and managing situation. So internally and externally. So one lessons what we have learned is that whenever there is a crisis in the organization, whether you are directly involved or indirectly involved, somehow you are involved. Wherever there is problem with the CMD, you should be there. The HR has to be visible whenever there is a problem, whenever there is a crisis, because he has to look somebody, and HR guy is the only person who can help whatever situations are there. So the number of things, initiatives, say we have taken. One area about this socio-economic development. Now this CSR policy has just come now. This Companies Act has been amended, where CSR has been made compulsory, 2%. I think it has been implemented from 2016. But way back, 98, now we thought about it, that yes, we had been doing, most of the public sector companies have been doing, private sector companies also doing, the corporate social responsibility, versus we made this socio-economic development project. And wherever we are working in the peripheral areas, now we have to do something. And in fact, I must say that whatever the development of the country is visible today, infrastructure, it has come mainly by the public sector. Whether have got the steel plants, with the NTPC plants, the oils, the projects, number of things. So wherever they have gone, they have brought out the development of that area. So indirectly, the public sector has made a huge contribution in the socio-economic development of the country as a whole. So friends, we were doing, but in sometime 98, say we had gone to the board and say that, yes, there has to be certain percentage of our profit. This should go to the development of area. This thought didn't come from the government. It has come from us. And I remember that we had gone with 1% because our profit was used. 24,000 crores profit, 22,000 crores profit. So that used to be the state of affairs. So I felt very happy that, okay, at least they gave 0.75% of net profit. Now we can spend like this. So we made the rule. What I'm saying, see, you have to anticipate. You are an HR, so you have to anticipate the future. And I didn't know that, okay, CSR is coming, the government is going to make it. But we did in ONGC, the first organization to do it like this, made the rule like this. Another area is when we talk of the trade unions, the office association, now the women development. Women, there was no sexual harassment clause or rules that time. But sometime I think 97, 94 and 95, we made this women development form, women development. Now they are also very important. And they have to be also to be heard. What are the issues? What are the grievances? Because they are the minority. And we made the women development form at all India level, at all the work centers. So there are, say, the objectives and missions. And one of the objectives was about the issues pertaining to this, the sexual harassment. They are not having any problem. So these are the things we thought, some time back, long time back. Another area is many people get surprised that, okay, ONGC is having a paperless organization, such a huge organization, having 38,000 persons and paperless organizations, do you think it has become in one day? The process started sometime in 90, and sometime in 90, I think 94, 95, 95, 96, we were the first organizations in the country to launch SAP system. We engaged Siemens and to do this SAP system, and also the Shramik project. Dr. Veena Sarup, Ms. Veena Sarup, she was spearheading this project. And the persons, they were recruited, they were not knowing this computer, things like that. So how to make even the working level, people working in Assam, Agartala, even all the places. So they were working very hard. And how the whole thing, the digitization is started from that time. And it continues from time to time. And now it has come, say, the paperless organization. Another very important milestone I must mention is about when commission was converted to company. It was a big change because it was a commission, means it was a government organization, just like a planning commission, just like a railway commission. And people used, and we were getting the financial advisor, they were all coming from the INDAS. So from the government organizations, becoming a public company, public company, it was a big thing. And unless you have good relations with the collectives, because they are the eyes and ears, also the direct connections with the people at large, then you can't succeed. You can't just issue one order. Yes, things were different earlier those times. Things have changed now. So now it was, you have to convince, you have to communicate, you have to take into confidence. And it was a huge task. And actually the task has now fallen on the lap of the HR. I remember that, yes. How many meetings? It has taken almost 1 year to organize a number of meetings. We engaged a McKinsey to do this. And I remember that I have gone to a number of places, all the work centers where we were there, organized a general meeting, general public meeting, address them, whatever their doubts, clarify their doubts. It has taken time, it has taken about 1 year time. But yes, they got convinced. It was a great change. Nobody wanted to change, but it was through only the communication, through the process of HR. Unless you create sort of confidence, people don't believe it. And in the process, now because the HR is from heart, you have the one thing I always were in my mind, that whatever the earnings we are doing, whatever the ways we are having the country or internationally, it is because of our own employees. And they should get the due shares. This is why whenever we have to have the wage settlement, pay revisions, we used to give the maximum benefits, both directly and indirectly. And ONGC was the first case. I remember the meeting with the minister was there, and the secretary, the bureaucrats. Now, bureaucrats, they don't want to give anything. And said they're okay, at least they should get some shares. Now, at least 612, I think 512 plus 100 shares, 612 shares were given, very subsidized price. And even we gave the loan to employees, 40,000 loan was given through State Bank in India. And 612 shares, the first and last sort of organizations where the shares were given to the employees. So friends, there are a number of things where we feel proud that yes. Also, I think last thing, the time is up, but I think a last thing I'll mention, because I had around more than say 20 points. I can't cover as the last 2 points. See, one is about the retired employees. ONGC is one organization who care for its retired employees because they are part and parcel. They make ONGCians. And number of measures were taken. Some measures were taken my time. Some measures were continued and to be taken by Dr. Balyal. And 3 things I'll mention very briefly. One is about the Agrani Samman. The people who joined sometime in 60s, 70s. What was the pay scales? Even when I joined class 1 position, my pay scale was 490, 495, 400 basic pay class 1. So what are the gratuity they were getting? What were the private fund they got? So their condition was very, very bad. And we gave certain, say the Agrani Samman, certain amounts we have given. Another was Asha Kiran. Asha Kiran, you see those who retired after 2007, there is provision for pension. They get certain amount of pension. Handsome, not very good. But those who retired 2007, they don't get anything. So somehow we devised the scheme. It has taken a lot of time, lot of convincing at the time at the level of the minister. And Asha Kiran was given. So they are getting certain amount, about I think 1,20,000 per annum. And there is something to give, something to get. Those even class 3, class 4 people. So unless they are getting something, they look forward. Another thing is also sort of a samman, felicitation. Now, I remember that we discussed with the then chairman, and then I said, he said, how we can help. So we came out with a scheme, felicitation. Once we become 70, so they give, I think, 75,000 rupees. Once we got 75, 80. So this amount goes on. And once you become, say, at the age of everybody, and it is same, whether class 3 or chairmen, everybody is getting the same amount. And once you reach the level of 100, and you get 1 lakh rupee. Now it's not they say, okay, it's felicitation. So you are being remembered by ONGC, yes. You are honored by ONGC. So this is sort of honor. So a number of things, say, just we tried, and also we having the periodical, say, meeting, what are their grievances and issues. The last is about awareness and accountability, because I didn't talk about accountability. That's, I'm not going to elaborate, but say at the end of the year, HR has to show that this is what is your performance, what you have done. You don't have anything to show. Finance, they have the balance sheet. Marketing, they have what they have sold. Production, they are having. Everybody every department is having to show their annual performance. But what do you have to show at the end of the year? And we in ONGC devised the targets, annual targets of your the HR target, corporate targets, MO targets, and also your the asset or business targets. So the targets are fixed in the beginning of the year, and then they are reviewed at the end of the year, and HR performance report is brought out at the end of the year. So there must be, you must have something to show that yes, yeah, this is the performance. So this is what I mentioned: accountability. Kaushal, last word. HR, say heart, and you don't leave the heart when you retire. You don't leave that heart in the organization when you retire. You carry that heart, and this is what Madam Radha was mentioning. For the last 17 years, say because God has given good heart. Everyone has good heart. So the last 17 years. I say I'm not retired and I'm not tired. With the friends like you, we have done 60,000 cataract operations free. We distribute lakhs of spectacles free. We have distributed medicines to lakhs of the people. So this is one area. And now from the next year, January, we are going to create eye hospital for the poor people, where about 4,000 operations will be done every year. And second thing, we have done around 300 training programs, not for any financial things, but it's how after superannuation, how they have to lead life. I think I must conclude over there. I am grateful to you for giving the opportunity to share some of my thoughts. Thank you and wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Rishma ji.
Thank you so much, sir. So it was a very lucid and enlightening presentation, sir, full of wisdom, lots of implementable ideas. So now it is time for the question and answer session, but you know, everything has been explained so well. So we have one question right now, I can see in the chat box. And so that is from Mr. Gurmukh Singh Baba. And he's saying that the approach of the millennium has brought about new challenges for human resource departments and practitioners around the world. So how are these viewed by persons at the top of HR line like you? Do these new challenges raise questions about the nature of HR practices and the role of HR professionals, and imply new approaches for the HR functions in the product and service delivery? So it's a long...
See, I mentioned the HR has to be versatile, and they should be ready for any eventuality. Now, for the last 9 months, what is happening? Now, see, most of the companies, they have the operations. You can't work everything from the work from home. Company like ONGC, they have operations, onshore operations, offshore operations. But how 24 hours, the operations are going on. So they have to resume the new role, new responsibility. In fact, the responsibility and role, the challenges 30 years were different, higher situation. Today, we are in the competitive market, competitive environment. And then, we have to have the new role to how to face the challenges. This has to be there in the part of their character, responsibility to face any eventualities, and also not only lead to be the organizations. So what the organizations require from you. So what the CEO requires from you. So you have to be there with you and take the responsibility on your head.
Okay. Thank you, sir. We have one more question by Mr. Dr. G.P. Rao, and he's asking, how can HR profession play a significant role in the development sector and contribute to community?
How?
How can HR profession play a significant role in the development sector and contribute to the community?
The Government of India, now they revised the Companies Act. And under that, you have to spend 2% of your profit, average profit of 3 years, toward the CSR, corporate social responsibility. Now, most of the companies they had been doing on their own. And Tata House is a great example. I don't know whether you have visited the Tata Nagar, Jamshedpur, how this was developed, how they have their hospitals, how their schools. So this developmental work has been done by most of the private sector, public sector area. So because the socio-economic development, taking care of the external environment is the responsibility of the HR. And in fact, this has to be one of the motto, the personal aim that yes, I want to do something for the redressal of the the pains and suffering of the poor people, the society, what you can do in society. So you have great that role and responsibility and opportunity. For doing so, they have to find out ways and means that yes, how you can do it. And they say they must do, say, very gladly. This is basically meeting your personal goal. क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ क्या है कि दानम, खैरात, philanthropic work is very, very important areas. And since you have the position of HR, now you have got the opportunity to do all these things through you.
Thank you, sir. Sir,
Ma'am, just a second. All students are requested to fill up the Google form. The link has been given in the chat so that you can get your certificates. Thank you very much.
okay, thank you, Mr. Jain. So, sir, the next question is by, I think he's a student, Anand Keshav, and he's asking, sir, what are the new challenges as per you for the HR executive post-COVID?
Yeah, actually, say we are ushering into say new environment. The first and foremost thing is that your fearlessness. One thing is that okay, if you are having some fear from this, the problem is there, and we have to be very optimistic. Even as a HR personnel, you have to be very optimistic. This is not the end of the journey. Now there will be tomorrow. There will be sunrise tomorrow. So this is not going, and as we see the light of the day, that yes, the vaccine is coming, it's a matter of time, and then it is going to be over. And even this situation, see, you were not prepared. In the last week of the March, you were not prepared to face this. And how ably you have now endured this situation last 8 to 9 months. So only thing you should be ready for that. That yes, whatever situation comes, now we shall be able to say win over. That sort of confidence has to be there. And then see, one of the virtues, the first virtues, actually I'm very fond of quoting Gita because there is no time. And please have time sometime. Chapter 16 of the Gita, verse 1 to 3. Shastriji is visible now. Yeah. So verse first, second, third of chapter 16. What are the values, virtues one should have? And there are 24 virtues given. And first virtue is fearlessness. As whenever there's problem there, so we have to have the courage, conviction, and fearlessness, and the optimism, that hope that says it will be over. This is not the permanent. It will pass through it. This will also pass on.
Very well said, sir. Thank you. So next question is by Mr. Naipal, and his question is that how do you see that HR has been changed from compliances, IR, development to digital?
I think this is what you have to have proactive approach, and now IR has gone. Compliance you have to do in any way. Now from the routine, what I was trying to emphasize in my talk is that say routine, anybody can do it. You make a set any person, and suppose वो file नीचे के ऊपर करता रहेगा, इधर करता रहेगा, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. But as a HR, it is your challenge that what value additions you can do. You have to find out that okay, what are the say the three things I mentioned. One is, what is the best practices in the industry as a whole? What are the best practices in HR in India, whatever the sector it is? What are the international practices? So now there is much more to be learned and implement it. Our HR की एक चीज और है कि अगर HR में आप कुछ काम नहीं करेंगे तो कोई नहीं कहेगा आपने क्यों नहीं किया है. आपने कोई इनिशिएटिव नहीं लिया है तो कोई आपसे नहीं पूछेगा कि आपने इनिशिएटिव क्यों नहीं लिया है. अगर कोई आप इनिशिएटिव ले रहे हैं तो कोई नहीं कहेगा, कोई पूछेगा नहीं आप क्यों ले रहे हैं. हमें क्लियर? सो अगर आप वो जैसा चल रहा है चलने दीजिए, nobody will ask you. But as a HR person, because you have, say, some sort of a passion to do something, then you have to look forward beyond the boundaries that what best you can do.
Right.
And there's a lot of scope. Nobody stopped. There's a number of things I think I couldn't cover even half of this. Nobody stopped me why you're doing this. And as I mentioned, if you're having good rapport with your colleagues and with the boss, so whatever thing you can make, get it implemented. Main thing is your own personality, your own interpersonal relationship. Many people fail in life and also in the work because of the interpersonal relationship. And this is one of the things, if you are able to get it over, there's not much of the problem.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Lal. So there are some more questions, but I think we are running out of time. So I will just take one last question. He's an MBA student, so I don't want to disappoint him, the student. So Nihal Sharma is asking, what are the new things as MBA students we should do to be update in this pandemic situation? What do we do to update ourselves?
The first and foremost important is your own self-development, your own self-management. And if you're able to manage yourself, then you can manage anything.
Right.
So you have to take care of, yes, what is your foundations? What are your values? These are very, very important. Yeah. And see this, a lot of people talk about the value-based management. They talk about the ethos. They talk about ethics. But what they are doing, what they have done it. Sorry because of the time, but I'll just take, say we in ONGC, we have sent about 2,000 to 3,000 persons to do this 10 days program in Vipassana. Vipassana is a Buddhist meditation techniques. 10 days program, cleansing process. 1,000 persons we have sent. We have sent 1,000 persons to Mount Abu, Brahma Kumaris. Because say by preaching you don't get anything. We have sent 1,000 persons to Bangalore,
right.
Vivekanand. So because once they come back, they come a little more refined persons. So mentioning your foundations kya hai. Once your basics are clear, your foundation is strong, then you can face any of the situations.
Right. Right. Thank you very much, sir. So now I would, we have Mr. V.M. Bansal from NTIM, and he would like to say a few words and he would like to give you his regards. So, Mr. Bansal, please go ahead.
Thank you so much for unmuting me. In fact, when I was told by Jain Saab that Jawahari Lal ji is a speaker, so इनसे बहुत पुराने संबंध हैं. He headed the HR of ONGC for such a long innings with such a distinction. तब से इनसे दोस्ती थी, संबंध थे. He has been very kind. उसके बाद पता नहीं कहाँ गुम हो गए. तो जब मुझे मुकेश जी से मालूम चला तो मैंने कहा it's a great meeting the old friend, and I am so very happy that आज की इनकी इवेंट के साथ में आपने हमारा भी मेहरबानी करके लोगो लगा रखा है. So it's a pleasure and honor. I just want to take this half a minute to meet my old friend. I didn't want to extend the session, but I just wanted to pay my respects and regards to him, and with a deep request to kindly stay connected with us. अब मुकेश जी ने मिला दिया तो हमसे जुड़े रहिए आप. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bansal Saab, for associating with ISTD. We'll do many programs with you, sir.
बिल्कुल सर, आप और हम तो एक ही हैं मुकेश जी. आपसे बहुत पुराने संबंध है, you know it. कल शाम को भी I'll just send you the invite. We are having a similar session with 5 renowned people. Please tell everybody to join if they have time. We have to be learning together.
Sure, sir. Sure,
yeah, we have to be learning all of us together. And Jawahari Lal ji ko apne mila diya. I'm really grateful for that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks
Thank
for
you, sir.
coming, sir. Thanks.
No, always a pleasure to me. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So
Thank you.
I think
Thank
we
you.
are already 7:15 and we were supposed to end at 7:15. So I would request Dr. Radha Sharma to just, summarize in 1 minute. I know it will be very difficult, but everything was so clear and lucid, that you won't have to make so much of effort. So just 1 minute. If you could just wrap up and, few
Okay,
takeaways.
Okay, Pratmaji, I'll try. I'm sure you'll all agree with me that we have had a very enriching session this evening with Dr. Jawahri Lal. He has shared the quintessence of his rich experience of 5 decades, and he has provided some nuggets and learning points for the new age managers. I'll quickly, in 1 minute, enumerate those. HR professional has to be self-motivated. He has to build his own team. He has to have first-hand knowledge of the job that one is doing. He has to have great relations with people around. He has to have a lot of zeal and derive inspiration from the seniors in the organization. Life is a process of learning. One has to have commitment, courage, and communication is the key. He has to be a good listener. And then he shared some of the best practices of ONGC. And one I would like to add here is green management at ONGC, for which they have got Golden Peacock Award and many awards. And the HRIS, Human Resource Information System, which he referred to, Shramik SAP project, all that, these have been great learning points and best practices of ONGC, CSR, Women Development Forum, and leading from the heart. And he talked about Agrani Saman, Asha Kiran, and other initiatives. And the best thing that he drew from Bhagavad Gita, the lessons of virtues of fearlessness and optimism in the today's time when the whole world is going through a very, very challenging period. So I end by quoting again from Gita, Sukhe Dukhe Samekritva Bhalavo Jaya Jay. And since a lot of students from NDIM are also present here, Karmane Vadhikaraste Ma Phaleshi Kadachana. And I'm sure with the kind of training and the learning that you are receiving at NDIM, and we have had the pleasure of having the blessings of our chairman, Dr. V.M. Bansal, they will definitely find a good job in the industry. We already always have 100% placement. Thank you very much, ISTD, for partnering with NDIM. And once again, Dr. Jawahri Lal, it was indeed, again, I missed you all these years and reconnecting with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sharma. I mean, you've in a very wonderful way, you summarized it in a very short time. Thank you very much. So now I would invite Mr. D.V. Shastri, Director HR GAIL, and our Vice Chairman ISTD to kindly give a formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Madam. It is really a matter of great pleasure and excitement to listen to Dr. Jawahri Lalji. As I could see, there were more than 215 participants. In the past, we had small gatherings, maybe because of limitations to join the Zoom session. But now that ISTD Delhi chapter has taken action to increase, now the participation has increased, and such a huge participation speaks volumes about the popularity of our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Jawahri Lalji. As far as I am concerned, as a person, I met him for the first time when he was associated with Petrotech Society. They had organized a seminar in which I was a speaker. तो तब से उनसे मुलाकात हुई और तब से उनसे सीखते ही आ रहे हैं. Just now, Dr. Saab mentioned about Nar Seva Hi Narayan Seva Hai. That is the crux, and that is the spirit of HR. And it is the spirit of giving that enables HR to become HR in real sense. Because if we start taking, then we are no longer HR. In one of the good discourses, I was listening to Dr. Pandya from Gayatri Parivar. He said, what is the difference between Devta and others? So he said that since, the gods are always giving, Devta Devta. So that is why he is Devta, and we are only Levta Levta. So that is the crux of the discourse or the talk delivered by Dr. Johari Lal ji. I know him personally. He is doing a lot of work through the NGO called Anugrah Drishtidan. And during the lockdown period, their organization distributed foods to the needy people, and the list is endless. We can keep on speaking. And the best thing is that Dr. Johari Lal does not preach. He is proving all what he said through his actions. So that is what is to be learned. Actions speak louder than words. So it has been a wonderful evening today, and we are grateful to everybody. I, along with Mukesh Jain ji, the chairperson of ISTD Delhi chapter, along with Sucharita ji, Pritima ji, and Dr. Radha Sharma from MDI. And we are also happy that NDIM, Bansal Saab and his team associated during this event today. And it is also heartening to see the dignitaries like Dr. Uddesh Kohli, Upadhyay ji, then Dr. Balyan was also there. I think he is still connected. We have National Vice President Dr. Daniel Kurian, RVP North, Professor P.K. Sharma, Professor Benwet, as usual, he doesn't miss this event. We are grateful to him also. Dr. S.B. Mitra, Dr. G.P. Rao, S. Gopinath ji, I am seeing him for the first time on this forum. Then we have Anita Chauhan ji, very active lady from Kota chapter. Then Dr. Tina Singh from NDIM. All who's who is present. So it really encourages us to take forward the activities of Delhi chapter. And I would not take much time, and I would only say the greatest takeaway from today's evening talk. Dr. Saab ने कहा, पैशन के बिना नहीं होता. कुछ भी अगर आपको एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी अचीव करना है, उसके लिए पैशन चाहिए. तो ऐसे ही एक सिमिलर फोरम थी, एक वो आईपी हैदराबाद की बोर्ड मीटिंग है, बोर्ड ऑफ स्टडीज की मीटिंग थी. तो मैंने मजाक में कहा, प्रोफेसर मिश्रा को बहुत लोग जानते होंगे, आर के मिश्रा जी. मैंने कहा कि साहब पागलपन के बिना कुछ हासिल हो नहीं सकता, और मुझे खुशी है कि बहुत से पागलों के बीच में मैं बैठा हूँ. तो दिस इज हाउ इट इज. पागल हुए बिना आप कुछ भी असाधारण उपलब्धि नहीं कर सकते, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है. और इस सब के विटनेस आप लोग हैं. मेरे ख्याल से जितने 216 लोग जुड़े हैं वो रियली पागल लोग हैं. दे आर पैशनेट. सो लेट अस वेलकम such a spirit of passion in all the learned people. जीपी राव साहब हंस रहे हैं, वो भी उन्हीं में शामिल है. आप भी उन्हीं पागलों की गिनती में. You are also a passionate person.
He's a leader. He's a leader.
हम नहीं आ सकते. तो बंसल साहब आपका भी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, आप आए. कल भी आपसे मिलेंगे शाम को. So with this I express my thanks and gratitude to one and all, especially to the student members who have joined this evening session with enthusiasm. Thank you one and all. Thank you so much.
To add with D.V. Sastry Saab, there are many chapter chairmen from many chapters of ISTD. I thank you all for joining us today, and there are many NC members also. So thank you very much, sir, and we are indeed grateful to you. With your kind support, we are able to do all these programs, and I am sure we'll get this kind of support from all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jain. So in the end, I would like to just share with you that we are launching a new program called Young Leaders Series. And the first one will be on 26th of December, that is on Saturday. And the topic for the first panel discussion is going to be future of work, worker, workplace, redesign, reboot, rethink. So the details of the panel discussion we will share with you closer to the date, just before 26th. So once again, thank you for attending today's session in large numbers. We will coming back with you, back to you with more interesting topics and great speakers. So thank you very much in the end. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you very